Hey there, welcome back to Geeky Greenhouse. Today I'm going to talk all about bottom pruning tomato plants. So what is bottom pruning? Bottom pruning is essentially removing the lower 6 inches or so of the plant's foliage and shoots. This guy here in the pot has already been bottom pruned, but I am going to show you how to do the process over in the garden. There are many reasons why you would want to bottom prune your tomato plants. Whether you're growing them in pots or in the garden bed, bottom pruning your tomato plants really does have a lot of benefits. In addition to keeping the plant nice and tidy, bottom pruning is also a great way to prevent soil-borne pathogens from entering tomato leaves. If you've ever walked out to see your garden or plants after a heavy rainfall, you may have noticed that there was a lot of dirt or mud at the bottom of your plants. Bottom pruning helps reduce the surface area of the plant near the soil, therefore reducing the possibility of soil splashing all over the plant. Before you start bottom pruning your tomato plants, you want to make sure that there's plenty of foliage on the upper half of the plant. This will ensure that the plant will be able to continue to produce enough energy to focus and grow the upper half of the plant. The process of bottom pruning goes hand in hand with mulching, which is another important process that we'll go into in another video. So now we're going to go into the garden and I'll show you how to bottom prune your plants. Alright, so we're over here in the garden. This is our Super Sweet 100 tomato. It was transplanted outside about 3 weeks ago. It's 1.5 feet tall, and as you can see, we have some leaves laying here in the dirt, and we also have a sucker shoot here that I'm going to prune off. This is an indeterminate variety. Regardless if you're growing indeterminate or determinate varieties, we do recommend bottom pruning. As you can see, there's plenty of foliage up at the top. This plant has been growing very quickly, and it's definitely time for a little bit of pruning. It is worth mentioning that bottom pruning is different than regular pruning. We'll definitely be putting out a video soon that goes more in depth about tomato pruning. This particular plant is pretty simple. There's just a few low-lying leaves. I am going to use the shears, though you don't have to. You can just use your hands and pluck them off. Just make sure your hands are clean and really simple. Just going to snip. Now you are technically wounding the plant, so you may want to do this on a day where it's not going to rain for a few hours to avoid any soil splashback onto the plant when it's most vulnerable. And I'm going to prune right here as well. And that's it. We just pruned off the bottom 6 or so inches, and we no longer have leaves lying in the soil. The plant looks nice and tidy, and if we want to do some mulching at this time, we could. Alright, so over here we have another tomato plant that is very much in need of some bottom pruning. This is a semi-determinate variety. It is much bushier, it grew very fast, and as you can see, there's lots of leaves lying on the soil here, and it desperately needs a little bit of a cleanup. So I'm going to start at the bottom, as close to the stem as possible. I'm just going to start snipping off. Alright, so as you can see, this tomato plant looks a lot better, and I think it's going to be a lot happier. And as you can see, there's a lot more room under here for airflow. So by thinning out all of the dense foliage at the bottom of this plant, we're helping to improve aeration, and if there is a lot of dense foliage on any plant, it creates the perfect environment for disease. The humidity builds up, and the water takes a lot longer to evaporate off the plant. We do have an experiment going on with these 2 tomato plants. If you're interested in that, you can watch that video as well. So that's all. The process of bottom pruning your tomato plants is very simple. If you have any tips or tricks that you'd like to share, be sure to leave a comment below. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.